Good evening, everyone! Welcome back once again to Vicious Rats, and of course I'm your host, your YouTube messiah, of an imitated, never duplicated superstar, Tim Vicious. And gonna go over Hell in a Cell was in Sacramento, California. Now, before we get into that, lot of meat on the damn bone to go over. Not just the pay-per-view itself, but, man, last week was hands down one of the biggest weeks for a wrestling fan in fucking forever, man. You had Raw, which won over last week. Phenomenal show. You had frickin' had AEW and NXT going head to head, you know, and everyone's thinking that the whole Wednesday Night War, it's just going to be consolidated between NXT and AEW. Here's the thing. While yes, that's going to be the main battleground, however, AEW is going against, on just TV-wise, NXT. On a whole, they're going against the entire fucking company, WWE. That'd be like the state of New Jersey going against the rest of the United States. You know? So I just want you to think about that for a comparison. And I'm not shitting on AEW saying, oh, they're the little guy, they got no chance or any of that. No. No. But I'm saying, if you're thinking that it's going to just be that kind of a fight. Speaking of AEW, Cody wound up putting out there on a big announcement that they are going to be doing their own separate show. AEW is going to have its own second show ran by Tony Schiavone. It's called AEW Dark. It highlights the dark matches that happen before the main TV show, which in a way it's a good thing because the show is on YouTube, so they already got their YouTube followers on there, much like, you know, I have my beloved ones here that are watching me right now. So they don't have to worry about the overhead costs of pitching to a network, getting a show, trying to get a time slot, you know, having to fight tooth and nail to get shit, to fight to keep this show on, things like that. Also, this coming Tuesday, October 8th at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been so long since I've said that. NWA is going to be debuting their new show, NWA Power. It is going to be available on YouTube via their YouTube channel, as well as they said on their Facebook gimmick. And not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it. If I'm wrong, feel free to say I was, but I think, emphasis on the word think, it'll also be available on the Fight app as well. So you can take a look on there. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan right now because content you got. If you want wrestling, if you want to watch wrestling, there is no excuse to not watch it because you can get 24/7 stimulation from pretty much every promotion around the world right now. Now to switch gears, get back into WWE. Before we get into Hell in a Cell, we're going to go and pop back, go in the Wayback Machine and do a quick run through on the SmackDown Rewind. It's been a while since we've done that. SmackDown premiered on Fox Network. God, pro wrestling on network television, wow. That's a big thing. It's a big deal. Whether you're a WWE fan or not, you gotta at least appreciate that much. Now, the SmackDown set, really cool, way awesome, felt very Fox Sports like, you know. Now they had the fallouts from it. Unfortunately, Kofi Kingston lost his title to Brock Lesnar in about 10 to 15 seconds. The fallout from that, though, after Brock won it, Ray came out limping and nursing his beatdown that he got, but he brought out Cain Vasquez, and Brock looked like he shit himself when Cain came out. So Cain came out, got in the ring, took Brock down, started throwing some potatoes at him. Looks, my personal guess, we're probably going to get a match between them two. I don't think it's going to be at Crown Jewel, though. We could, but I think that might be a little too soon. Also, big fallout from SmackDown as well. Braun Strowman wound up getting into it with pro boxer Tyson Fury, which then led to a fallout on Raw, where them two had a big brouhaha, and it ended very much so in the same way Tyson and Austin. Jesus Christ. Fucking botch already. Damn it. Anyways. Really liked on how the way things are going with it, you know, and the way they're hyping up the draft and the brand splits, it's really unique also because they're not trying to say this show's trying to show they're the A show. Raw's trying to say they're the A show. SmackDown's trying to say they're the... No. They're pitting the networks against each other, which is fucking cool. They're saying USA wants the top stars. No, Fox wants the top stars. They're fucking putting them against each other, you know? That's like no different than buying stock in Walmart and Amazon, saying, you know what? Let them two go at each other because in the end, I win. You know? Basically like that. So, now that we're done going over all that, I'm going to get into the big issues and the problems that I had with the pay-per-view as we go through it. Now let's get into Hell in a Cell. First match, pre-show match. Lacey Evans versus Natayla. These two have been going at it for a good bit. And normally the pay-per-views, when you get the big crescendo and the big payoff on feuds, we had a follow-up on this on Raw, and I'll get to that in a minute. Excuse me. Had some nice back and forth. Liked on how Lacey was leading the match and on how she was focusing on Natty's one knee and leg. And I emphasize on how I liked on how Lacey was leading it because, you know, obviously, yeah, you know, I see Lacey and you all know where I go on that, but, you know, aside from being a big old hound dog, you know, I'm a firm believer in building up the next round of talent. And Lacey is that next round of talent. Natayla has been here for a while. You know, let her be the one to say, oh, let me work with her. I can make her. You know, God knows, look, everyone knows on how I feel on Natayla. You know, she's about as bland as the paint on the wall. But personality-wise, but cannot take away from her in-ring work. I'm never going to do that. She's really good in the ring, you know. But this decent match, really dug it. Match wound up coming to an end when Lacey missed a moonsault and Natayla wound up getting up, locked in the sharpshooter, got it in. And then right afterwards, Natty, boom, hit Lacey with her own version of a right. And then we get to a last women standing match on Raw, which the action was really good, but then the problem with why I don't like last man standing matches is the whole waiting for the 10 count. That came to an end when Natayla powerbombed Lacey off the entryway onto a table. So yeah, that was it. And I'm not disappointed or mad that Lacey lost on either match because she's the heel in it, so she can always go back and get her heat. You know, she can go back and get her heat in 100 different kind of ways. So I'm good with that. Now, that said, let's get into the main show. Starts off with Hell in a Cell match, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Raw Women's title. This match started before the cage even dropped. For whatever reason, I don't know, something different. They decided to bring the girls out before the cage came down. And as they're announcing, then next thing you know, boom, that's when they started going at it. They brawled, and then they got outside of the cage, and then they went into the cage. Once they got into the cage, though, and Becky started to catch her breath, Becky got her breath, she started going to town on Sasha, actually stopped the ref from locking the cage, got the chain, wrapped it around her, was like, be right back. Went through a few shots at Sasha, then went over and locked it herself. So, and this was a fucking beautiful, beautiful match. Hands down, best match on the card. I will say it now. Best match on the card. I dare anyone to say anything otherwise to me. This was, really great match. This came off more like a bar fight than an actual wrestling match or like a brawling type match. A lot of creative, interesting little spots. Sasha doing like a Meteora to Becky while Becky was leaning up against a ladder. Becky throwing Sasha into a chair that was propped up, wedged against the corners of the cell. Just a lot of interesting spots. I thought it was unique. I thought it was really cool to see. I dug the shit out of it. Match wound up coming to an end when eventually Becky Lynch locked in a disarmer on Sasha after she did a Bexploder onto her from the top rope and landed directly onto a big pile of chairs. Next matchup we got after that was Roman Reigns, Bryan going against Luke Harper and Eric Rowen in a tornado tag match. And this was mayhem all around. Just what you would have expected. Harper and Rowan leading, doing the power game, my God, I missed Luke Harper so much. I didn't realize on how much I missed Luke Harper until I saw him in that ring. I cannot put over how good of a talent Luke Harper is. If I had to describe him, basically like a mix between Bruiser Brody and Cactus Jack. That would honestly be the best way I could to anyone that has never seen Luke Harper before, that knows wrestling. But if they didn't know Luke Harper but watch wrestling, they deserve a punch in the head. Yeah. Either way, great match, a lot of mayhem, a lot of action going on all around. Seen a couple different table spots. Saw Rowan literally rip the corner out of the timekeeper's table to use it. All kinds of crazy non-stop mayhem shit. Match wound up coming to an end though when Bryan and Roman wound up basically double teaming, hitting moves back and forth on Harper to eventually have Roman hit the spear. And the best way I could describe that sequence about them two doing the double teaming, watch the very end of Captain America Civil War and you see that, and watch that scene where Captain America and the Winter Soldier are double teaming on Iron Man, and that basically sums up on how that went. Yeah. So next up we got impromptu match that came to be from earlier on. I believe it was during the pre-show. I could be wrong. Randy Orton versus Ali. Now this good solid, nice solid top, good little bit of action on it. Randy, he was pretty much leading it. This kind of like was the, ooh, damn, ooh, who booked this shit kind of match. And when there are shit shows, when you get a shitty match like that, I'm a firm believer in a type of mindset, and I learned this reading Rip Rogers' book. And side note, if you do not know, if you have not read Rip Rogers' book, highly recommend it. You'll wind up learning a lot about the business if you did. You know, sometimes the old man intentionally puts out stinker matches before a marquee match. And he'll do that just to hype the crowd up for the marquee match. He did that shit with damn it. He did that shit with Hogan. You look back, you watch some of the old stuff from the 90s, you see, he did that shit with Austin too. You know, it happens. Now, whether or not this was intended to be one of those stinker matches, I don't know, but it felt like it. Probably the highlight of this match had to be, to me anyway, was Ali's counter to the RKO. Randy went to go hit it, and Ali just put his hand straight down and slammed the mat as hard as he could and popped himself back up to give that sound and that thud like he hit it, like he hit the mat. Once Randy turned around, Ali started working on him. Eventually, though, Randy, he did hit an RKO, 1, 2, 3. That was it. So now we come to another impromptu match that was announced earlier in the day. Now, before I get into that, one thing I do want to address. I forgot I actually had this in my notes I wanted to talk about. They only announced 4 matches for the show. And a ton of fucking smarky little dick holsters were complaining about it, saying, oh, they only did 4 matches. Oh, all the matches are just rematches. Shut the fuck up. You know, given the matches that they announced, Sasha and Becky, Charlotte and Bayley, Seth and Wyatt, as well as Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross going against Asuka and Kairi Sane. Those were the ones that they announced. Now, I don't know about you guys, but but I'd rather have 4 matches on a card that leave the fans wowed the entire time than make a card, then announce a 9 to 10 card show with only 2 or 3 matches that are going to have that wow factor. You know, I'm just saying. Not only that, a lot of people will go and say, oh, well, this wrestler doesn't get enough time in the ring. This one doesn't get enough time. Well, you know, if there's only 4 matches, how much you want to bet they're going to have time in the ring then, fuck knuckle? Either way, now, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross going against Asuka and Kairi Sane, and oh, thank God my buddy Zeke was there. Thank God my buddy Zeke, he was on hand. Had my heart pills, had the defibrillator. He had to hit me with the fire hose once or twice because I was starting to get a little worked up during it, but you know, when your future third ex-wife is out there, you know, yeah. So, really liked on how this match went. You know, Bliss and Cross, they were kind of leading the match, which I dug. I thought that was kind of cool, you know. Asuka was the punching bag for her team, which was different and in a good way, and Bliss eventually wound up becoming a punching bag for her team, and probably hands down, I know I addressed it last week, but the best thing I can honestly say about this whole Alexa Bliss Nikki Cross tag team is on how they naturally turned face. No one forced them, the crowd just took them as it, you know? And it was just so cool because of that. And you notice, if you go back and you watch the match, you'll notice Asuka and Kairi, they were kind of fighting a little dirty, you know? They came off a little chip on the shoulder, I'm better than you, heel kind of attitude, which was really cool to see, and match wound up coming to an end when Asuka, she wound up doing the green mist to Nikki Cross and then get the pin. And for those who may not understand the whole concept on why she's able to do the green mist, allow me to explain. Good, can't say he's a good friend of the show, but somebody that I know, he's an asshole nonetheless, the Masked Mark at Just a Stupid Mark on Twitter, wound up explaining at one point in detail on how because of the bombing in Hiroshima, you know, certain females wound up developing a specific gland that allowed them to produce the mist, and it passed on through generations, hence why certain Japanese wrestlers have the mist, shoot the mist. Tajiri being one of them, he developed the mist gland. Asuka has the mist gland. Don't know if Kairi Sane has the mist gland, no. Obviously, we know the Great Muta has the mist gland, you know. So, yeah. And if you don't believe me on this, just ask the Masked Mark at Just a Stupid Mark. And by the way, tell him Tim Vicious said he's an asshole. He'll understand. And ask him about that. He'll be more than free to go into it. And then, yeah, that's it. So next up, we got another match that was unannounced. We had the Good Brothers, we had the Biz Cliz, Gallows, Anderson, and Styles going against the Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman. And that, so you got a whole, that is a whole lot of beard in one corner. Whew. My beard was in envy of seeing that. That had a whole lot of back and forth on this. Eric, he was the team punching bag in this one, which, okay, again, a little different, but given everyone that was in the match, it kind of made sense because, you know, I want you to explain to me on how it makes sense story-wise to have Ivar, the 300-pounder, be the 300-pounder out of the Raiders, be the team punching bag, or have Braun Strowman be the team punching bag. So yeah, decent enough match. It was a filler match. That's really what it was. You know, match wound up coming to an end. Ref called for a DQ when Styles, Gallows, and Anderson did a 3-on-1 beatdown on Braun Strowman. Braun eventually cleared house and then threw Styles a good right, which the aftermath on that was hilarious because you see Gallows and Anderson getting Styles up, trying to explain him. He's like, and Styles is looking like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm not good. Which, can speak from first-hand experience. I have been in plenty of fights where I've been like that, like get put on the ass end of an ass whooping and then next you be like, I'm alright, take 2 steps and fall flat on my face. I'm not alright. Next up we got another match, Baron Corbin going against Chad Gable. Gable was white hot. Don't want to say white hot, but man, he was red hot on fire, man, with this one. I absolutely loved it. Like Gable, love his in-ring work. You know, my only fear is people are gonna, the constant comparison to him and Kurt Angle. Both Olympians, both, you know, both Olympic wrestling, both Olympic wrestlers, you know, both got great mat skills. You know, I just, like I said, I worry about the comparison with that because if he gets stuck and he's branded with that, it's going to be impossible to get that, to wash that up. I'm afraid that it'd be impossible to wash off, and I don't know if he'd be able to get up from that. But good match. I dug the shit out of it, you know. Corbin, he led it, you know, again, as expected, and people were shitting on this match like, oh, we're getting this. Corbin's doing short jokes. That's not cool. That's not nice. He's a fucking bad guy. He's a bad guy and he's in a PG environment. So God forbid he plays by those rules and makes fun of Gable for being short. For being shorter than him. I mean, okay, I'm not 100% certain on this. Gable, I think he's somewhere between like 5'6" and like 5'10". Okay? I'm 6'2" myself. I would crack a joke on him, be like, hey, you know, you trying to squeeze an inch in on me? I'd crack jokes like that with him if I knew him and I was cool with him. But, you know, I have buddies like that I do that with. But for fuck's sake, you're gonna get mad at a heel doing heel things? Where the fuck is the logic in that? Match wound up coming to an end though with Gable doing a surprise roll up on Baron Corbin, getting the 1, 2, 3. Backstage interview later on, he wound up saying Shorty wound up beating the King, which then led to Corbin beating the shit out of him when he turned the corner. So yeah. Next up, we got another round of women's action. Charlotte, Bayley, SmackDown Women's title. This, nice, good. Wow, this was a good match. I really dug the shit out of this match. This was good. You know, Charlotte, she was leading early on, and Bayley started to pick up the pace on it. At one point, Charlotte, she wound up busting her lip or her mouth or something. You know, she was spitting out blood, and it was bad enough to where the ref had to go and glove up. You know, so I don't know if it was a fat lip or busted something on the inside, but yeah. Decent match. I dug it. I dug the hell out of it. I thought it was good. Match came to an end. Charlotte, she locked in the figure 8. Bayley tapped, so now Charlotte is a 10-time women's champion. And the aftermath on that, Bayley sitting there like having the crowd chanting, you tapped out, you tapped out, and hearing her yelling, shut up, it wasn't supposed to end this way, things like that. So now we come to the main event of the night. Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and holy shit nuts. Now, I will say right from the get-go, the action in the ring was fucking cool. I dug it from a psychology standpoint, and I'll get into that in a minute. The ending, I did not like. Wasn't a big fan of the ending, but it made sense when I thought about it. I had a moment, took some time to step back and think about it, and was, okay, I can understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand. Now, I'll get into that also. Now, the Fiend pretty much was no-selling everything Seth was throwing at him. Like, he was pretty much impervious to any type of pain. You know, Bray was leading the pace, and Bray was leading the pace for a good bit. Seth, though, probably the biggest pop from this match came to be when Seth wound up hitting like 3 curb stomps, a pedigree, and then another curb stomp, and then the Fiend kicked out at 1. 1. And the look on Seth Rollins' face was priceless for that. That was beautiful. The facial expression he showed for that. Now, after that, though, Seth, he pretty much dug under the ring and threw everything at him. You know, whether literally and metaphorically speaking. You know, he got whatever he could get his hands on. Chairs, kendo stick, table, all that shit. Bray just was kicking out. And eventually Seth threw table, ladder, pretty much toolbox, all kinds of stuff on top of him. And then he grabbed sledgehammer. Got it in his hand, going down, looking like going to do like strike, going to hit the kill shot. Ref, whoa, Seth, whoa, stop. You don't want to go down this road. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this, man. And you hear the ref talking him down, trying to talk him down, saying you don't want to do this, you don't want to go down that road, this, that, and the other. Seth, wham, goes and does it, and you could see the Fiend, and then just dead and limp. Ref calls for a stoppage, so the match ends via ref stoppage because of that. Now, I was not a fan of it, like I said. Now, after that, EMTs came out. They started to load him up on the stretcher and the gurney, and then just as they were about to, the Fiend started to show life again, started moving and wiggling, and then Seth went over to check on him, and then boom, it ended with him locking the mandible claw in, and then it ended in that way. The fans did not go home happy. God forbid the fans do not go home happy all the time. You know, I mean, Christ, if these fans were around in like the old Southern wrestling territories, oh my God, we'd never hear the end of it, because they'd bitch because they would send the fans home angry and hot all the time. Back in the old territory days down in the old South, you know. But reason why I'm okay, I don't like the finish, but I'm okay with it, if that makes sense, because you think about it from a psychology standpoint. The Fiend is a lot of ways like Finn Balor's demon. It's what happens when you take Bray out of the equation. The difference being the Fiend is in basically just straight evil. The demon is just basically like Finn Balor without a conscience. That's on how it's supposed to portray. Now also, think about this. Where are you gonna go from here if you put the Universal title on the Fiend? Who's gonna take it from him? Where are you gonna go from there? You know, that's my thing. When you put the challenger, you know, you put a challenger up against them, you know. Okay, you put the champ against a challenger. I want you to sit there and think, do you really see that challenger as a champion? Don't worry on if you think they're going to win or not, but I want you to look at that challenger and think, could you see them carrying that title? Because, you know, it's a legit question. And that's why I was like, no, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see them doing it. You know? So yeah, they had to do a smudge finish. I wasn't a fan of it, but fuck, what else were they gonna do? You know? So that is it. That's it for the show, and that's it for this week, folks. So, like all normal, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure you look for me on my Twitter at Tim Vicious. Also, look for my Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you look me on my Facebook gimmick, make sure you let me know you found me on there from here, or my Twitter at Tim Vicious. I don't think I got Creep John going. Big ups to my executive producer, Ali Rewind Ben, who provided the music for this week's show. Also, you want one of these sweet Ali Rewind shirts? Hit me up and I'll talk to the man for you, or look for him on his Facebook gimmick at Hie Enriquez. Show that man some love and support. Big thanks to contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships. It's a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a whole lot of nothing. Also, folks, do not forget to follow all these cool-ass cats right here on that Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Kenny Killer, DSB_IV, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants, Dazzy MWP, my homeboy Zeke. The man keeps me alive every week thanks to them damn heart pills. His account is TSUNDERE_ZEE. And folks, like I always tell you, you let me great, you hate me.
How could you do me
Fuck
like
yes.
that? How could you do me like that?